Honorable Supreme Court of Ohio is now in open session pursuant to adjournment. Master Commissioner Gregory Matthews presiding.
Morning, everyone. We are here this morning in case number 2020-0638, Hassan Mohammed, petitioner versus William Eckelberry, Seneca County Sheriff respondent. We are here for an evidentiary hearing on petitioner's request for a writ of habeas corpus. And for the record, I'll note that this hearing is being conducted remotely and that it is open to the public as it is being streamed live online through a link on the court's website. Counsel, would you please introduce yourselves for the record?
Eric Allen on behalf of petitioner Hassan Mohammed.
Derek Devine on behalf of respondent William F. Eckelberry, Seneca County Sheriff.
Thank you. Now, it is my understanding that we have two witnesses who may be providing live testimony this morning. Before we begin, I want to give a brief instruction to the witnesses before we proceed. So, gentlemen, in a moment, you will be removed from the main hearing into a virtual waiting room where you will not be able to see or hear what's going on in this hearing. While you're in those waiting rooms, I'm instructing you now not to watch the hearing while it is being streamed live online. And I'm also instructing you not to communicate with each other in any way while the hearing is going on, or to listen to each other's testimony before you yourself have testified. Do either of you have any questions about that?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Michael, you can now move the witnesses to the waiting room. Thanks, Michael. So before we hear from witnesses, I'll give our counsel an opportunity to make a brief opening statement if you would like. Mr. Allen?
Yes, Your Honor. In looking at this case and filing the state habeas petition, I would mention a number of things that we hope to prove here this morning. First, the bond was set in this case without counsel present. It has remained at $1 million for the time that Mr. Hassan has been incarcerated. Both of his brothers will testify to his lack of a criminal record of any kind, his character, where he was in 2018, as the respondent has brought up the facts of the case, which normally aren't brought up in a bond hearing, but this is sort of not a bond hearing, but something different. So we believe that once you hear all the evidence that you'll find that the bond is unreasonable and reset it accordingly.
Thank you. Mr. Devine, would you like to make an opening statement at this time?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Couple of things. First, I think it's important that this hearing be undertaken as a review for an abuse of discretion by the trial court. This proceeding should look at the factors under Criminal Rule 46 for the establishment of bond. As we've indicated in our filings, certified copies, the petitioner has been indicted on 4 felony counts, 2 F1s and 2 F2s with gun specifications, and we believe that the nature of those charges is should be a significant factor for a trial court in establishing bond and in this court's review of that bond. I would also indicate that in the filings that we've made, there's certified copies from a Moyler case. Mr. Moyler was indicted for aiding and abetting the petitioner in this case. Moyler is the person who identifies petitioner as the individual who got out of the car and fired the handgun. Moyler has pled guilty to 2 felony counts as it relates to his indictment as the aider and abetter of petitioner. As it relates to these proceedings, we've included a copy, certified copy of Mr. Moyler's judgment entry for his bond hearing. And as the person who was accused of aiding and abetting petitioner, his bond was set at the exact same amount as petitioners. We would also think that the evidence is going to establish that there's been no motion filed in the trial court where the evidence being presented to this court has ever been presented. And we would think that proceeding and granting any type of relief without first giving the trial court that same opportunity would establish a precedent that that would not be appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, Mr. Allen, you may call your first witness.
Ali Muhammad.
Mr. Mohammed, I'm going to need you to display a photo ID before I can administer the oath.
Yep.
Give me just a moment. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And if you would raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Allen?
Thank you. How are you related to Hassan Muhammad?
I am his older brother.
Okay. How much older are you than he is?
He was 94, so I'm 4 years older than him.
Okay. How big a family do you have?
We are in total 6. Not so I got 5 siblings.
Okay. And where are you from originally?
Originally I was born in Somalia.
Okay. Okay. And where does your family live now?
They live in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay. And Hassan, where did he go to school?
He was going to the American Institute of I think modern medicine.
Okay. And what was he going to school for?
For his RN degree.
Okay. Okay. How about high school?
High school, I believe I think he went to either Canal Winchester or Gahanna.
Okay. And do you remember him ever getting into fights in school?
No, not at all.
Other than normal sibling issues, did he ever get violent with you?
No, we're brothers, so from time to time we bump heads here and there, but he's not a violent person.
Okay. Now, do you ever remember him being arrested as a juvenile?
No,
How about as an adult, other than this incident?
No.
Okay. And we talked about the nursing school. Did he finish nursing school?
yeah, he graduated of January 2017.
Okay. What kind of person is Hassan?
He's a kind, timid individual. He's very meticulous with his work, and he's empathetic. So he definitely has a big heart.
Okay. You ever seen him with a gun or any weapon?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, your father is sick.
That is correct.
What's wrong with your dad?
He got into an accident October 13th of 2018. He got into a very bad accident. He was in a coma for about, give or take, 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hassan helped take care of him at any point?
Yes, he did. We all pretty much came together at that point to help the family needs.
Okay. Does he help with your mother?
Yeah, he helps with my mom. We do have a younger sibling who has Down syndrome, so it's a 24-hour care with him. So my mom, it's nearing her old age, so he definitely helps out.
Okay. Okay. You ever heard Hassan mention a girlfriend in Washington, D.C.?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. ever mention to you a John Moyler?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, 2000, did Hassan ever live with you?
Yeah, he moved with me on December of 2017.
Okay. And where were you living at that time?
Where was I living? I was living in Pittsburgh.
Okay. And what was he doing for work?
He was helping me out. I was pretty much starting my own business here.
Okay.
So he finished school, so he was in there getting his trying to finish his NCLEX. So he was studying. I was supplying him with any financial needs that he needed. But he was a big help over here in Pittsburgh for me.
Okay. And what do you do for a living?
I run a home health agency.
Okay. Okay. Did he ever mention Tiffin, Ohio to you?
No, not at all.
Did he ever mention students in Tiffin, Ohio?
No, not at all.
Okay. And you had mentioned before that if he needed money, you would give it to him.
Yeah, and he also he did like a jitney, like an Uber service. So he usually gets money through that. It's like $100 or $200 a week that he would receive. So that was able to keep him above water. But
Okay.
anything else that he needed, I would supply.
Okay. Okay. Do you know a Kenneth Turner?
Yes. How
do you know Ken Turner?
He's good friends with Hassan. He's the one that he was driving to and from work. I vaguely met him prior to the arrest and everything. I know him now, but back in the day, I usually just probably seen him once, and he was a good guy.
Okay. Do you remember taking a video with him?
Do I remember taking a video with him?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can do this.
Okay.
Can everybody see that?
I cannot.
I can just see the filings.
Mr. Allen, this is Michael. You're going to need
Yeah.
to stop sharing your screen, open the
Okay.
video, and have it staged. And then you'll click on share screen again. And then when you share the screen, then it will give you the option to choose the video player that is open.
So stop sharing the screen.
Correct.
Okay. That's the green box.
At the top, there should be red next to it where it says stop sharing. Okay, now
Okay.
open locally the video.
Okay.
Get it staged, ready to begin.
Okay.
Okay, now hit share screen. Highlight the video. Click on, and then at the bottom there are two boxes. You want to optimize for optimize video for sharing, and then share computer sound, and then click share.
Okay. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes.
Okay. Does that look like the video that you took with Mr. Turner?
That is correct.
Okay. Does that look like a fair and accurate copy of that video?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to play this in its entirety. It's about 17 minutes, if that's all right.
Okay.
All right, please state your name for the record.
Kenneth Turner.
Okay, Kenneth. did you know or knew Hassan Muhammad?
Yes, I knew Hassan Muhammad. He was a
Okay.
cool kid, and he helped me out in the situation for my job. I knew
Okay.
him.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you a series of questions, okay?
Okay.
Just be honest with me. It's not something that I understand that you didn't know Hassan Muhammad, and the next following questions, I just need you to be as honest as possible, okay?
Of course.
Okay, good. Are you aware that he was arrested?
Yes, I was aware. His brother had called me like immediately after it happened.
Okay. So, do you know why he was arrested?
I'm not specifically sure, but I think the way his brother was telling me, he was identified in a situation that matched his identity, but I guess with some other guy. But I don't believe that happened because the song was with me the whole spring of 2018, and he was not in Ohio because I had work and he was taking me back and forth to work. That was my ride.
Oh, okay. So, you knew. Now, you and I both know 2018 is kind of far away, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
like a little over a year ago. I want to say, well, then at the time,
Yeah.
before he was arrested, I knew him like a year and some change.
Okay. And you could remember these dates? How?
Because I met Hassan in January of 2018 at Savoy, this restaurant in the Strip District. They had a New Year's Eve party, so I met him in 2018 of January, and that's how long I knew him, for a year, and this year up until he was,
Okay, so so when was the last time you saw Hassan?
The last time I saw Hassan was the ending week of March of 2019, just a few months ago, actually. Well, I'm sorry, not a few months ago, but 2019, a few months after the New Year's of 2019. I see him like the ending week of March. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I tried calling him, but his phone kept going to voicemail. I've been calling him for like a whole month after, that, and his phone was going to voicemail. And then that's when his brother Ali called me, and I almost got fired from my job because I didn't ride to work. So I was really pressuring him to, depending on him and relying on him to take me back and forth to work.
Okay, so let's go back. So you can remember these dates because he was your ride to work, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you, on March 27th, 2018, did you see Hassan?
Yes, I did see Hassan on March 27th of 2018. He picked me up and forth. He picked me up back and forth from my home to work, so I can pick up my clients, and we had an arrangement with each other. So yes, I seen him. And
So you were scheduled to work on March 27th, 2018?
yes, which I believe is a weekday because my client's name is Charles, and Charles, I got him for 6 hours a day, and it was from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. So that was a Tuesday because I got him on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So yes, and I had a son take me to pick him up.
Okay, so is March 23rd a weekday or a weekend?
March 23rd is actually a weekday, but I had my client on the 27th.
Sorry, that's not March 23rd. I meant 27th.
Yes, but I mean that's still a weekday. But I had my client on the 27th, which was also a weekday, which was a Tuesday. I want to say because I had him on that beginning of the week. Yes.
Okay, so what were you wearing when you were?
Sir, I was wearing a gray sweatshirt and a gray sweatsuit, well, gray sweatpants. I don't think that has nothing to do with the incident about Hassan.
Okay, gotcha. Is it true, like as a home health aide, you have to have training?
Yes, I'm certified.
Okay. And did he tell you what he did or worked as, or?
Yeah, when I met Hassan, we had an agreement to take me back and forth to work because Ubers and Lyfts was more expensive. So he knocked a few dollars off for me, which was appreciative. So back and forth trips, him taking me back and forth to work. We discussed him taking his, I want to say, nursing exam, or to be his clinician's exam to become a nurse. And whenever he moved here from Ohio, so that's what he was putting his focus on, his nursing license, so he could work for UPMC here.
Oh, okay.
And that's something that helped him with, you know, and talk
Now,
to him
did
about
he
too.
work for UPMC at the time, or you're saying he's just studying, like he's getting his license, or?
No, he was just studying for his nursing exam. And he just moved from Ohio. He didn't work there yet, but his working abilities was driving me back and forth to work and hustling, you know, trying to make a living, honest living, an innocent living, because he was very delicate. He was a good guy, very friendly guy.
Okay. Now, so did he tell you if he Ohio, like you said that you know that he's from Ohio? Right?
Yeah, he said he was from Ohio, but since I met him and knew him, no, he didn't go to Ohio because he was offered if he passed his nursing license exam, he was offered $10K bonus on the spot. You know, if he start working with UPMC, so that's what his main focus was on, was his license. So that's what he was doing. Other than that, no, he didn't go back and forth to Ohio because I had work, and he would take me back and forth to work.
Okay. Okay. So. Okay. Give me a second here.
Okay. Because I'm a little parched myself.
Yeah.
Sorry,
You
but
need, you need some water. We'll get you. We're almost done here.
okay.
So how often did he say he visits Ohio?
He didn't really say. As long as I knew him, he didn't ever go back to Ohio.
So between New Year's when he moved there, you said he moved there New Year's, or?
I met him New Year's.
Okay, so between New Year's and when he was arrested, did you ever had a conversation with him saying, "Hey, I'm going to Ohio this weekend"?
No, he didn't want to go back to Ohio because he was studying for his nursing exam. And besides, me and him was real cool after that, so we kind of vibed off each other, made a connection, and he was my ride back and forth to work. So we kind of connected, and we just stayed around each other. It was very friendly vibes.
Okay, so what's Hassan's height?
I'm 6'2", so I know he probably came about like to my shoulders. I'm about my shoulders, so probably a little under 6 foot. I want to say. He's not. He's
Okay.
tall, but I'm tall and I'm big. I'm like a giant, so everybody's shorter than me.
And like, do you know his facial complexion, or?
He looked like me. Same
Okay.
complexion, like
Okay.
honey.
All right. So, did you ever see Hassan with a gun or engage in any criminal activities?
No, because I'm not a criminal. I don't engage in activities. That's not my lifestyle. Hassan, whenever we hung with each other, it was nothing but laughs, you know, great times, out to eat. You know, he just smoked hookah and played basketball in his free time. And that's that. I don't know his before, like when he moved here to
Right.
Pittsburgh, but I know when he was here, he was a good dude, great dude. He was very fun.
Right.
You know, we just had our own little connection.
So he never said anything about, hey, anything about like guns, or you never noticed anything in his car, like. Did you?
No, he's a pretty clean guy. He was kind of like, he kind of remind me of like, and I believe he came from like a suburban background. Because me, myself, I don't hang around nothing out of the ordinary, so.
Okay, so what color car did he drive when he was here?
He drove a white Impala, like an older white Impala.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen him with a gold Toyota?
No. We was only one standard car, which was his white Chevy Impala.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm very sure. I'm very 100% positive.
Did he have a girlfriend in Virginia?
I don't know nothing about girlfriends, but I know here in the city, he was a ladies' man. He had a lot of ladies around him. But that's not something I want to talk about. That's personal.
Okay.
I don't want to bring that
That's
up.
fine. Do you know what side of town he lived in?
He lived on the north side. He lived
Okay.
on the north side, right by AGH, Allegheny General Hospital to be exact. That's where we lived at.
Okay. And
Kind of like the ghetto.
yeah. How long did he live there?
Since I know him, a year.
Okay. And did you ever see him like smoke marijuana or anything like that, or?
No, like I said, all he did was just smoke hookah and play basketball.
So
So
okay.
kind of like an athlete.
Okay, so let me explain to you what's going on here.
Okay.
Hassan is currently being accused of committing a crime, attempted murder.
Wow.
Now, my question to you is, what city did he say he's from? Like, did he move from North Ohio, Central, or?
I don't really know. I'm from Pittsburgh. I really don't know Ohio, but I know he just said Columbus, Ohio. That's all I know. It's
Okay, so
Columbus,
have
Ohio.
you ever heard him talk about Toledo?
No.
Okay. Have you ever heard him talk about Tiffin, Ohio?
I never heard of. Say that again, sir.
Tiffin?
I never heard of Tiffin, Ohio.
Okay.
And he never explained nothing to Ohio. And I'm not the type of guy to get into someone's personal business. I let people vent when they want to vent. And I'll ask questions. Of course, I want to get to know you as a person, but about a criminal past or anything, he never stated anything like that. But like I said, as far as I knew him,
Right.
we had our kind of like bromance, our own, relationship, a civilized relationship. So that's something I can go based off of. But I know for a fact, this guy didn't do no murdering, no killings. Like, he didn't come out to me like that because I don't play that. I'm a certified, nursing assistant, so I don't want that around me. And I have a child that I got full custody of, so I can't afford anything like that for it to happen. So,
Okay.
as far as him being a criminal, no, sir.
Okay. So you don't see him ever committing such a crime, like attempted murder?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you see him committing any type of fraud?
No. Anybody can commit fraud, but like I said, if he was the type of person to commit fraud, he wouldn't have made no arrangements for me to even, scramble up change, driving me back and forth to work. So no, he's not a fraud. Trust me. I know people that are frauds, but he's not one. He don't come off as that type of guy. Like, see, I got the wrong person. I really want to tell y'all, I'm 1,000% sure that you guys have the wrong guy. I was with him on the day y'all were talking about him committing a crime or incident that happened. He was not there.
Okay. So March 27th, you said that date you have to go into work.
Yes.
And your shift ends at 6 p.m.?
No, it ends at 8.
It ends
2
at 8.
p.m. to 8 p.m. Yes. My client has 6 hours.
So, is there any way you could see him on that date going back to Ohio and then coming pick you back up?
Not exactly. I don't think so, because whenever he dropped me off at work, he had came from playing basketball, and then we was talking for a little bit, and we both was tired because I was working, and he was just like, "Well, I'm just go home and go to sleep, and then just call me ahead of time so I can be on time to pick you up, so you don't have no worries."
So at 2 p.m. he dropped you off, and he dropped you off at your client's house that you take care of.
Yes.
So then you're assuming that he came back home and went to sleep and took a nap.
No, I'm not assuming. No, you listen to what I said. What I said was I had to be working at 2 o'clock, so he played basketball practice or basketball early in the morning, early afternoon, late afternoon. And he came to pick me up about 1:30. He picked me up, and we went to my client's house at 2. So again, I said when we got in the car, we was talking. We both exaggerated. We were tired. So whenever he dropped me off, he said he was going to go home and go back to sleep. But he told me to call him ahead of time so he don't be late picking me up.
Got it. So what was he pay? What were you paying him to have him drive you?
Like $50. Sometimes I would just throw in a little bit of extra money. But he was kind of like a friend, so I wanted to look out for him. And I wanted to try to help him, pursue his career that he wanted.
Right.
So I wanted to put something in his pockets.
Okay, so $50, like $50 a week or?
A week.
Yeah.
Like $50 a week, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I would add in more.
Right. So, okay, let me ask you this. On that date, do you ever foresee that maybe he was driving some different car?
Sir, no.
Like, did he have another card that
No.
Okay.
No. Whenever I met him, he picked me up from work, and even if when I went on a few times, I met up with him, and we all be, having fun, drinking a little bit, and then even walking outside, when the bars close or the hookah cafes closes, he walked to his car, which was a white Chevy Impala. I'll make sure he get there safe. And we would be with a couple of friends around us, and that was that. I didn't ever see him in any other car. And even, the guys he hung with, or even when he was with me, no one had a gold car. I don't.
Okay. Did Hassan carry a wallet? Or have you ever seen him? Like, if you know how if you have to go to a drive-through,
Yeah.
and a person takes out his wallet. Now, did he have several credit cards, or how does?
No, I paid him cash. If he.
But how if you try to remember, if you try to, I guess go in like a Dunkin' Donuts or something.
Yeah.
Would he have several credit cards in his wallet, or was cash, or what was?
It would be cash. I pay cash. So I believe it would
But
be
you
cash.
never seen him with like 10 different credit cards. Did you ever see him with more than one credit card in there? Or did he ever
Not that I know of. I don't think I've ever seen him with a credit card. Like, not 10 different credit cards, but no, just cash.
Okay. All right, that's pretty much.
And
it.
I want to say one thing for the record. I don't know I don't know the full situation or the full explanation from what's going on with him, but I know that Hassan was not there on the date that y'all said he was there, which was March 27th that it happened. I know Hassan wasn't there because he was with me. And besides, he's not that guy. I don't know if it's a race thing, that still exists or whatever in the society, but I know that Hassan Muhammad was not there. He was with me, taking me to work to go get my client, Charles Scott, between 2 and 8 p.m. And he dropped me off at home because I'm not the type, I don't like being picked up late, or I don't want to be late to anything. So I know for a fact he didn't do it. And I believe that in my heart, 1,000%, and he did not do that. That man is innocent.
All right.
Any other questions?
No, that's pretty much it. Thanks, Kenneth.
Okay,
All right.
I appreciate it.
All right. Please state your name for the record.
Kenneth Turner.
Okay. Do you know or knew Hassan Muhammad?
Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Is that the video that you took with Mr. Turner?
Yes, sir.
Does it appear altered in any way?
No.
Okay. Did he also provide you with some records from his employment?
Yes.
Okay. See if I can do this correctly.
Okay.
All right, can you see that?
Sort of. Well, yeah, it's loading, I believe. Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay. Does that appear to be the record that he provided you about his employment?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. And for the record, the video is, we have listed that as Exhibit 1. We've listed the employment records as Exhibit 2, if you're keeping score at home.
Okay.
And on that, it shows that on the 27th, he worked from 2 to 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you know if Hassan can afford $1 million bond?
I don't know.
How about your family?
I believe my family wouldn't be able to do this as well.
How much money can your family raise to pay bond for Mr. Muhammad for Hassan?
5,000.
Okay. And would you be able to ensure he would appear at every court appearance?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that he would show up to every court appearance?
Yes, he would.
Okay. Would he abide by any conditions of the bond?
He would abide by all the conditions.
Do you have any concerns that he would take off and leave your family owing the bond?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Not at all.
And is your family willing to put up this money knowing that he'll have to appear for a trial?
Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Hassan's health, how long has he been locked up?
A year and some change now.
Okay. And that was in Pittsburgh as well as the Seneca County Jail, correct?
That is correct. Hello?
And has he developed that?
I'm sorry. Something just popped up on my screen. All right. I'm sorry.
Have you noticed any health issues for Hassan?
While he was incarcerated?
Yes.
Well, he was complaining about the whole coronavirus things, how there's really not much social distancing and stuff like that. And lately, he's been complaining about how he has infection in his tooth. So,
okay.
Yeah. Other than that, I feel like he's a resilient man.
Okay. So, do you have any concerns about his mental health?
No. Well, no, not at all.
Okay. Now, if he was released, do you think Hassan is a threat to anybody?
No, not at all.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Mr. Devine, any cross-examination?
Yes, just a couple of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Mr. Mohammed.
Good morning.
Have you ever provided testimony in the Seneca County Common Police Court regarding this subject?
No, this will be my first time.
Has Mr. Turner ever provided any testimony in the Seneca County Common Police Court?
Well, today would be the first time.
Okay. So to your knowledge, he's never been to Tiffin?
No.
Okay. No further questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Allen, anything further with the witness?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, he can be excused. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. You have a nice day.
Mr. Allen, you can call your next witness.
Ishmael Mohammed.
Mr. Mohammed, once you unmute, I'll need you to display your photo ID. Thank you. And if you would raise your right hand when you're ready. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Mr. Allen, go ahead.
Thank you. You're Hassan Mohammed's brother?
Yes.
You're his younger brother?
Younger, a year younger.
And what kind of person is he?
In general, Hassan is a very calm person, timid. He's very friendly. and also a very determined person, hardworking in terms of school and things of that nature.
Okay. Is he a violent person?
No, he, I mean, throughout my life, the last time I've seen Hassan ever fight was probably elementary school. Throughout his life, he was never a person who liked to fight, more to sort of reason, try to solve things through verbally.
Does he own a gun or a rifle?
No, never touched one.
And he was in nursing school. Did you collect some records from the nursing school?
Do I have some? What was that?
Do you remember collecting some record? Did Hassan go to school for nursing? Do you remember collecting some records for that?
Yeah, I don't have it with me at the moment, but
well, I'm gonna show them to you. Here,
I don't have it with me at the moment, but he graduated from nursing school in the beginning of January.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Can you see that?
Okay.
Oh. Can you see that? Try this again. How about this? Can you see that?
It's a bit blurry there. Let me see. Yeah, that's his transcript.
Okay. Does that appear to be a true and accurate copy of what you received?
Yeah, that's the one I sent you.
Okay.
A while back. Yeah, he went to the American Institute of Alternative Medicine. That's
and did he
Columbus.
graduate? Did he graduate from there, as far as you know?
Yeah, he graduated from there. He was actually preparing, studying for quite some time for the nursing certification NCLEX exam.
Okay.
And he began studying that right after he graduated.
And ultimately, what was Hassan trying to become in his life? What was he trying to do for employment?
Hassan, ultimately, what he was trying to achieve is to become a nurse. He wanted to take some time off a bit, to debrief because, nursing school can be a bit difficult. But he ultimately wanted to become a director of nursing for his brother's home healthcare, our brother.
Okay. And in terms of Hassan being a threat to anyone, do you have any concerns about him being a threat?
No.
And your brother's been locked up for roughly 18 months. Do you have any concerns about his health?
Could you repeat that part? Sorry, the audio is kind of lagging.
That's all right. Do you have any concerns about Hassan's health since he's been incarcerated?
In the jail at the moment?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, his concern, when he was younger, he always had these little heart problems. I'm not sure if it was he got infections or younger when he was younger, but he always had heart problems. He would have heart palpitations and whatnot. My dad has murmurs. I believe he also has that as well. Another thing he also has is anxieties. He has anxiety. One of the things I remember in school was whenever there was a test or upcoming exam, he would usually need to probably take it alone or a different time period because of the anxiety during the test was so much for him.
Okay.
Being in jail for that long, I'm pretty sure that all those problems have, gotten worse, considering he's never been seen by an actual doctor or whatnot.
Okay. Other than what you've mentioned, are there any mental health issues that you're concerned about?
In jail, he's been in there for almost 13 years. 13 months. I can't remember. The anxiety's gotten worse. When I talk to him, he's not the same individual as he was before. He has insomnia. He doesn't really sleep much. Overall, he's just I'd say he's, I don't know. He's not the same person as he was once before. Yeah.
Okay. Did he ever mention a John Moyler to you?
Okay. Repeat that. Sorry, the video's lagging again.
Oh, that's all right. Did he ever mention a John Moyler to you?
Yeah, the audio was kind of lagging here.
Sure.
Can
you hear me now?
Don't know what to do.
Let me interject here for a minute, and let's go off the record. Michael, do you have anything you can assist with here?
No, Greg. It's strictly due to his internet connection. So if it hasn't cleared up, the best course is for him to dial in.
Okay, Mr. Allen, are you near the end with him? How much longer are we?
Not much longer.
Mr. Muhammad, can you hear us right now?
Yeah, I can't really hear much.
Why don't we, Michael, let's do the dial in to wrap this up.
Okay, sounds good, Greg.
Are we still off the record?
Yes.
Mr. Allen, is your examination
Hello, Mr. Mohammed.
Yeah.
Okay, we have you back in the hearing room. We're off the record at this point. And Mr. Allen is going to conclude his examination. So let's go
Okay.
back on the record. So we're back on the record. Mr. Mohammed had some technical connection issues, and those have been addressed. Hopefully we were able to finish his examination. Mr. Mohammed, I will remind you that you are still under oath. Mr. Allen, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you. Mr. Mohammed, did Hassan ever mention a John Moyler?
Never. And me, yeah, never. I never heard of a John Moyler.
About Tiffin, Ohio?
No.
Going to Tiffin or having any business in Tiffin?
Yeah, never heard of Tiffin before this case.
Okay. If Hassan was released, where would he live?
He live in Columbus.
Okay.
My father went in a car crash back in October of 13th, so he of 2018. So he actually wants to spend more time with his father.
And is that would that be equipped for electronic monitoring or GPS if the court were to impose that?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you know if he would have any work if he was released? Is there any discussion about him having employment or anything like that?
He would, if he were to come out, I mean, his primary focus would probably be to continue his study and trying for that nursing certification exam, the NCLEX exam. Yeah, so he has a lot of books here, and he wanted to actually dive into them.
Can you, your family or Hassan afford $1 million bond?
No.
What would be a reasonable bond that you could afford?
I mean, we would prefer him coming out, with no amount to pay, since we believe he's innocent. But if we're pushing it, I'd say maybe 5,000.
Okay. That's if it were 10% or
10%, yeah.
Okay. And do you have any concerns that Hassan would abide by the conditions of the court?
Yeah, he would abide by every rule set upon him.
Okay. Do you have any concerns that he would be a threat to anyone?
No.
You were present in December at the motion to suppress hearing?
Yes.
Do you remember me asking the judge to reduce the bond?
Yes, I do remember.
Okay. Do you remember what his answer was?
Yes, he denied it and kept it at $1 million.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Mr. Devine?
Good morning, Mr. Mohammed.
Good morning.
Have you ever testified or offered evidence in any manner in the Seneca County Common Pleas Court regarding the release of your brother?
No.
I have no further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Allen, anything?
No, Your Honor.
This witness may be excused. Thank you, Mr. Mohammed, for your time this morning.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Allen, any additional evidence this morning to present?
Your Honor, I would just ask that the three exhibits that we discussed via the live testimony be admitted. The other exhibit that we had proffered is for, we would just ask you to consider that as well. That's something that I just got, so it would be difficult to get a witness to testify to that. So we'd ask that you consider that as well.
And for the record, could you just briefly explain what that other exhibit is that you're referring to?
I can probably be good for the record to explain what each one is. Exhibit 1 is the video of Mr. Turner. Exhibit 2 is Mr. Turner's employment records. Exhibit 3 is a page, and I can introduce the entire report if you wish, from a police report whereby one of the victims picked out the original Hussein Muhammad that the Tiffin Police Department picked up. And Exhibit 4 is Mr. Muhammad's transcript from nursing school.
Okay, thank you. With that, anything else from the petitioner this morning?
Other than argument now.
Yeah, we'll do argument at the end. Mr. Devine, any evidence to present this morning?
We would rest on the evidence we've previously submitted via sworn affidavit from Detective Chandler and the certified copies from the Seneca County Common Pleas Court.
Okay, thank you. And obviously, as already has been alluded to just now, both parties did file written evidence and some other information last week with the clerk's office. Under Criminal Rule 46F, that information and the evidence, in addition to what was presented this morning, does not need to conform to the rules of evidence. Therefore, the information presented this morning and the documents previously filed with the clerk are submitted for the court's consideration. And with that, we'll conclude with closing arguments. Mr. Allen?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. I think first we have to start, Mr. Muhammad was brought back from Pittsburgh. A bond hearing was held in front of a magistrate without counsel. The bond was set at $1 million. It should be noted in this case that while there was a shooting, no one was hit or injured in this matter. Doesn't obviously excuse what occurred, but there was no physical injury to anyone. I did request the court to reduce the bond at the conclusion of a motions to suppress hearing. The second Mr. Muhammad testified to that. The judge refused to allow reduction in the bond. And that motion to suppress was sitting for about 4 months. When it was finally ruled upon, we were in the middle of the pandemic. Mr. Muhammad has no prior criminal record. Mr. Muhammad has no history of violence. Mr. Muhammad would certainly abide by any conditions of the court if they were going to release him on bond. I believe that both Mr. Muhammad's testified that they could probably afford a $50,000 bond. I think that's more in line with a reasonable bond, given the fact that here no persons were injured, given that there is some question as to the identity of Mr. Muhammad. The first person they picked up was picked out by the victim as this is the person. So, you have to wonder, whether or not they're going to be able to get a conviction in this case. Mr. Moyler, we have always argued that Mr. Moyler was pressured into making this identification of Mr. Muhammad. So with looking at all those things and all those things that we presented both here in live testimony and via paper testimony and the video that was played for the court, we would ask that you reduce the bond and release Mr. Muhammad from the Seneca County Jail.
Thank you. And one question for you, Mr. Allen. You're asking for a reduction of the bond, and is there a specific amount that you're asking the court to reduce it to?
I would ask the court to reduce to $50,000 with a 10% provision. That's in line with his lack of a criminal history, his ties to the community in Columbus. Columbus is roughly an hour and a half from Tiffin, which is where he'd be living. And I think that's far more reasonable and that certainly would make sure that he would come to court and abide by any conditions if his family had to put up that amount of money. Okay,
thank you. Mr. Devine?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Allen had hit on Criminal Rule 46, and we would agree that we're not aware of any prior convictions. We would strongly disagree, though, as it relates to the nature of the offense. The fact that nobody was hit with the bullet and injured does not negate in any way the alleged criminal conduct in this case. The defendant is indicted on 2 counts of attempted murder and then 2 counts of felonious assault for the firing of a handgun into an automobile in the city of Tiffin. When you look at 46C1, you look at the nature and circumstances of the crime charged and whether the defendant used or had access to a weapon. We have somebody who is indicted for a felony of the first degree, which faces a significant period of incarceration. Gun specification would be mandatory additional time. So the defendant is looking at significant incarceration if he is convicted. As it relates to the identification of the petitioner, we agree there was somebody named Hussein Mohammed, who was initially identified by the victim of the crime as being the shooter. The person who the state is relying on to identify the shooter is a person who was driving the car to the crime scene, who saw with a person who had been part of a scam to defraud a financial institution. The girlfriend of Moyler gave a statement to Tiffin police that she went to high school with petitioner, and she's the one who actually came forward when Hussein Mohammed's picture was in the paper and said, "You got the wrong guy." So our identification at trial is going to be based on the girlfriend of Moyler, who went to high school with petitioner, and Mr. Moyler. Moyler was indicted on complicity to charges, and he pled guilty to a complicity to felonious assault and an inferior degree offense of complicity to aggravated assault. And he was sentenced to a term of incarceration for his role in these crimes. While I don't have any way to explain why Tiffin Police Department would be pressuring Moyler to identify Hassan Mohammed as the shooter instead of Hussein Mohammed as the shooter. Both the misidentified Hussein and the since identified Hassan are not people who the Tiffin Police Department has previously dealt with. They're not on the radar of local law enforcement. It's not like this person is a known bad guy who the police have focused on. These are both Mohammeds were known to be residents of Franklin County and had no involvement prior to this with Seneca County. So there's no logical basis for Tiffin Police Department pressuring Moyler, who admitted his role in the crimes readily, to have him misidentify petitioner as the person who committed the crime. I think it's important for this court to consider the precedent that petitioner is asking. He's presented evidence and testimony here today that has never been presented to the trial court judge. He's asking the trial court judge's determination on bond to be changed or modified based on evidence, arguments that have never been made to the trial court judge. The precedent that could be created would be literally everybody incarcerated pending adjudication of criminal charges wants their bond reduced. This would create the precedent of allowing everyone to not even make an argument to the trial court judge and run to the Supreme Court and say, "I want my bond reduced." None of these arguments, the evidence, has ever been presented to the trial court judge. Right now, we can't schedule the matter for trial because petitioner is currently being evaluated for a determination of his competency to stand trial. and to assist counsel in that trial. So we're in a holding pattern, and I agree with Mr. Allen. There was a motion to suppress. There was a delay getting a ruling on the motion to suppress, and then we were in the throes of the COVID pandemic. But the motion was filed on July 1. It would be my expectation, if the petitioner is deemed competent, that the trial court would schedule the matter for trial relatively quickly. Again, we're in uncharted territory though with the getting the evaluation done. It's been 2 months now waiting for a report from Forensic 5 on the competence, and I'm not sure if that's because they're waiting records or they're having trouble, with whatever process. But we're waiting that determination on competence before we can actually have a trial. Finally, the Mr. Allen advocated that petitioner has local ties. We would disagree. We would suggest local ties are local ties to the community where he is indicted. That would be Seneca County, not Franklin County. Franklin County is in the state of Ohio, but it's a significant distance. And if he would violate the terms of his bond, the relative ease of a judge dealing with a bond for somebody who is in Franklin County is much different than somebody who is local. It also makes it much more difficult if the court wants to monitor the person while they're on bond. Finally, the best evidence before this court as to the appropriateness of the bond for petitioner is the bond for the driver of the car indicted for the same offenses as set forth in the certified copies that we provided was the same amount. I would suggest that if a person was the driver of the car, maybe his bond should be less. In this case, because of the circumstances, Mr. Moyler was arrested much quicker and was charged and went through the criminal justice system in 2018. And at the time he went through, his bond was set at $1 million, no 10%. When Mr. Muhammad, petitioner, comes to Seneca County in 2019, his bond was set at the exact same amount by the exact same magistrate at $1 million, no 10%, based on the nature of the charges and the rules of criminal procedure. So we would suggest that is the best evidence that the bond is not an abuse of discretion, because it's the exact same bond that the driver got when he went through the court system in 2018. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Allen, I'll give you an opportunity for a brief rebuttal.
Thank you. I think it does make a difference when you talk about the magistrate setting a bond without counsel present, how he considered anything other than the co-defendant got this bond. Obviously didn't consider anything about Mr. Muhammad. Then he just set the bond. I think the respondent is concerned about the court getting in the business of setting bond or being a watcher of common pleas court judges. I think that's a great idea. Certainly, as you look at the bail reform movement, as you look at trying to reform the plea bargaining process, I think more defense attorneys should do this to try and have someone look at whether or not this bond is set to make sure the person shows up and is not a threat to the community, or this bond was set to enforce or force a plea in the case. So I think in this case that there is little doubt that $1 million bond is not something that he could afford. It's not something that would ensure his appearance at pretrials, motion hearings, and the trial, and it's certainly not to ensure the safety of the community. So again, we would ask that you reduce the bond and release Mr. Muhammad.
Your
Thank you.
Honor, Your Honor.
Yeah, yes, sir.
If my argument was misunderstood, I have no objection to the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeals looking at bond. I'm suggesting that it's inappropriate for the evidence being submitted to this court was not presented to the common police court judge for his review in making a determination first. It's my suggestion that you're second guessing a trial court judge with information that was never presented to that trial court judge.
Thank you. With that, I believe we are done here this morning. My recommendation to the court will be forthcoming. And with that, we stand adjourned.
Thank you, Judge.